Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video should have been actually put out on Mother's Day. Didn't happen, and yeah, it just didn't happen. So I just like to say a belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Today is just such a month of celebration. Mother's Day is Child's Month and Teacher's Day, all of that. So happy Teacher's Day, happy Mother's Day, happy Child's Day when it comes. So as the title of this video suggests, we're going to talk about 5 things that I have learned from my mom. And guess what? There are 5 good things that I learned from her, but there are also 5 things that life has taught me that kind of improves some of the things the lessons that I have learned from her. Life has caused me to kind of tweak some of the lessons that I actually learned from my mom. So stay tuned for those 5 things, and of course I'm going to have to throw in a few throwback footage of me and my mom when I was growing up. So stay tuned for that footage. Stay tuned. You know the drill. Comment, subscribe, like, share, and help to expand this community. Number 1. So my mom is a giver. So from early out, I learned how to be a giver. My mom gives to persons in the community. My mom gives to church folks, persons at work. In general, she just has a giving spirit. And so from early out, some of my earliest memories, there's always at least one what we call shut-in or elderly person who cannot go out anymore. And one of my earliest memories is that there's always, on a Sunday evening, there's always a nice little dinner packaged and taken to 1 or 2 of these persons, these elderly persons. She's always hosting. So persons would come, if persons come from afar and they're staying over to do something else, they would be at my home. So she's always hosting, catering, and all that kind of thing. So from early on, that is one of the lessons that I learned from her. But guess what? Life has also taught me that takers have no limits. So givers have to establish limits and establish boundaries. So based on that lesson I learned from my mom, I am also a giver. I like to give, I like to help, I like to share. But then I also have to learn to say no, because there are persons who will take advantage of your giving spirit, and you'll give, and they will take, really. So it's not that you don't give, but you have to be very wise in how you give so that persons do not take advantage of you. That's basically it. So I learned to be a giver from my mom, but life has taught me that there has to be limits. There has to be caps on how you give. You have to give with wisdom. Second lesson. So my mom is that person who knows how to make a little stretch. So I didn't come from a rich family. My mom was a civil servant, right? So for those who know what a civil servant is a government worker. So, and if you're in Jamaica and you're a government worker, for the most part, you do not make a lot of money. And so my mom wasn't making a lot of money, but she knew how to stretch the money. She knew how to make much out of the little. Basically, she knew how to live within her means and to basically run the household, run the family. No, she was not a single mom. My father is always there. So as much as yes, there were 2 incomes, but she knew how to make her little into much. So I learned from the get-go that you can make much out of little, right? And that's a lesson that I learned from my mom. But life has taught me to go beyond living within your means and to learn how to expand your means. So whereas she is the one who have the little and she save and she cut and she tie and cut corners and she try and she, to make it work, I have learned, whereas that is good, there I have to learn ways how to expand that little by additional sources of income, learning to invest. So instead of just living within the means, learning how to expand the means. So my mom taught me to live within the means, learn how to make little stretch, little go a long way, which is good lesson. But life has taught me that I have to go beyond that. I have to go beyond just making the little work and to try to make the little into much. Number 3, my mom, whereas my mom, as I said before, is not a single mom, has always been married since I've known myself. So there's always a husband there. But even though a husband and a father is in the household, it doesn't, my mom has never been the one to sit back and to relax and say, okay, no man is taking in the bread, so I can just chill, I can just get my nails done, I can just get my hair done. No, she has always been get up, go, get ready for work, go to work, come in, do all sorts and all of that. So she is always one on the go, right? So she's not just stay-at-home mom sitting down, looking, waiting for the husband to bring the bread in. She is bringing some of the bread money. She is hustling and taking in some of the money also. So that is something that I have learned from my mom. What life has taught me, however, is that even when you are helping to bring in the bread, helping to hustle and all of that, you have to learn to know when to accept help. You have to learn to know when to just sit back and just, be a little bit dainty and just accept help. Because there are times you cannot do everything by yourself. You don't know everything. As I said, father is there playing an active role and helping with the household. But you see the vision of a mother who is there doing both, doing housework, doing looking after a home, and also doing a full-time job. So it looks like a superwoman. And in your head, as growing up, you say, yeah man, this is you can do this. And you can do this even without a man. But life has taught me that, no, sometimes you have to stress back, you have to step back and look at it. Balance is good. Assistance is good. Getting help from others is good. Right? So that is what life has taught me. Number 4, my mom has taught me how to treat people. So as long as I can remember, as a child, we have always had persons who assist in the home. So household assistants or helpers or whatever you call them. Right? There has always been somebody there. But she does not treat them as less than. The way how she speaks to them, the way how she relates to them, they almost become a part of the family. And so the treatment of in the household help is just the treatment of everybody in general. You treat people with respect, you treat people equally, and the same thing. She has something not to be this kind of confrontational kind of person. Michelle Obama says when they go low, you go high. So almost like taking the high road. Sometimes take a step back, lay back a little bit, and just be personable, that kind of personality. But life has taught me that whereas you treat people with respect, whereas you take the high road, sometimes you have to be assertive, you have to go at people. Not, you just have to be wise and know when to assert yourself and know when to step up. Because again, if you do not do that, persons will take advantage of you. Persons will use you to get their way with no thought of your feelings, no thought of what you want to do, or with no thought of your desires. So whereas you treat people with respect, you take the high road, you don't try to be combative or be the kind of person who likes the mix up or likes the argument. No, that's not the personality. But life has taught me how to strike a balance. When to be assertive, when to pull back, when to show respect, and when to downright state your mind and tell exactly what you want. And number 5, my mom has taught me how to be a stable person, right? So all my life I've had a home, lived at a home, so it's not like I've been moving from home to home and trying to, you're not sure what's happening, you're not sure where you're going to go, where you're going to move to next week, and all of that. So I have learned that kind of stability from my mom, because she was able to make a stable home, a stable environment. You knew where the next meal was coming from, even when the next meal might not be a big fancy meal, but you knew certain things. You knew there's a bed, there's a roof. You don't have to worry, okay, light or water is going to cut off. That kind of instability, you don't have to worry about that. And a lot of that came because my mom maintained a stable job for, I think she was at her job for probably well over 30 years. So there's a level of stability, a level of, yeah man, this is the way it is done, and you stick to this job and you do this for over time, and you know that your pay is coming at the end of the month, and you know that kind of stability, which is good. Instability can affect you in your adult life, because you're not able to nest, you're not able to make a home, because it's always the next move. You don't know what it feels like to come home to a place that is safe and calm. That I learned from my mom. Life has taught me, however, that stability sometimes, and just being in the one job all your life and doing the one thing, can limit you, because there's a whole world out there. There are many possibilities. There are other things to do instead of just basically sticking to what you know. And so, whereas the lesson is good in one hand and it helps you to be a stable personality, you're not flipping all over the place. You're not that kind of person. But life has taught that you have to open up to other possibilities sometimes. You have to open up to a different world, a different worldview, a different way of doing things. And so, those are 5 lessons I learned from mom. But life has taught me some additional lessons that has helped to reshape and to reframe some of those lessons that I've learned from my mom. So what you can do now, drop a comment of some of the lessons that you have learned from your mom. And again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers watching, and have a great one. Thank you for watching, and remember, subscribe, share, like, and comment. Bye bye.